Formula One is entering a new age, one that could change the very definition of racing itself. Picture this: the red lights on the starting grid, the sound of engines ready to explode into life. But there's no driver sitting in the cockpit, no hands gripping the wheel, not a single heartbeat pounding beneath the helmet, just silence and the hum of artificial intelligence waiting for the signal to go. It sounds like science fiction, but it's becoming reality faster than anyone expected. The combination of data, automation, and artificial intelligence is reshaping not just how Formula One cars drive, but what it means to race. In a sport that has always celebrated human bravery, instinct, and reaction, machines are slowly taking control. 2026 will bring new regulations that already make F1 cars more self-aware than ever. Active aerodynamics, adaptive hybrid systems, predictive algorithms. But these are only the first steps towards a world where computers drive better, faster, and more precisely than humans ever could. The question haunting the paddock now is simple but terrifying. What happens when the machine no longer needs the man? To understand where we're going, we've got to look at where it all began. Formula One has always been a laboratory for technology. Every decade has pushed the boundaries of what's possible, from the first use of turbochargers to hybrid power units that harvest energy like living organisms. In the last 10 years, something new has quietly taken the wheel: data. Each car generates terabytes of information during a race: tire pressure, brake temperatures, fuel flow, aerodynamics, airflow, GPS coordinates, all analyzed in real time by supercomputers. In the past, teams would wait until after the race to understand what went wrong. Now, artificial intelligence reads the data as it happens, suggesting changes in milliseconds. Engineers no longer rely on instinct alone. They have digital co-pilots, whispering strategy directly into their headsets, running millions of simulations mid-race, deciding when to pit, when to push, when to save. It's actually quite incredible, but also unsettling. Because once AI learns how to make decisions, how long is it before it decides to drive the car itself? That is exactly the experiment that started with a project called Roborace. Launched in 2017, Roborace aimed to create a fully autonomous racing series. The cars looked like futuristic F1 machines, sleek, low, electric, and utterly driverless. No one sat inside. Instead, onboard computers used cameras, radar, and LiDAR to scan the track, read distances, and adjust speed instantly. At first, the results were clumsy. Cars spun out, missed braking zones, or stopped mid-race after getting lost. But then, something changed. The algorithms began to learn. Machine learning turned chaos into control. Within months, those same cars could complete laps faster than any amateur drivers. The world didn't notice much, but inside F1's secret engineering departments, people were paying close attention. Because if an AI could drive that well with limited data, imagine what it could do with Formula One's endless flow of telemetry. Modern F1 cars already contain semi-autonomous systems: throttle-by-wire, brake balance, torque control. Computers constantly make micro-adjustments that drivers can't even perceive. Now, with advances in artificial intelligence, these systems are learning to predict. AI models can simulate how a car will behave seconds in advance, optimizing lines, fuel usage, and energy recovery automatically. In other words, the car begins to think for itself. It's easy to see why this evolution is irresistible to engineers. AI can process 1,000 environmental variables faster than any human. It can calculate the perfect braking point, anticipate grip changes, and react in microseconds. It never gets tired. It never panics. It never makes emotional decisions. From a purely technical standpoint, it's perfection. But that is exactly the problem, because Formula One has never been about perfection. It's been about people. When Niki Lauda climbed back into his car 6 weeks after a fiery crash, that wasn't about speed. It was about willpower. When Senna drove through the rain at Donington like a man possessed, it wasn't about data. It was about instinct. Fans don't fall in love with the perfect lap. They fall in love with the imperfect human who fights to create it. So, as Formula One embraces artificial intelligence, it also risks losing the one thing that made it truly human: emotion. Still, F1 can't stop. Innovation is in its bloodstream. Every technological breakthrough in motorsport, from carbon fiber to hybrid engines, was born out of Formula One's relentless push forward. And now AI is that next frontier. It's already everywhere. Mercedes uses deep learning to simulate tire wear. Red Bull's algorithms predict the best pit stop down to the second. Ferrari's AI tools model airflow patterns before the cars even reach the wind tunnel. And with every update, the machine gets smarter. They are learning exactly how humans drive. And soon, they might not need us at all. The scary part is, once AI learns enough, it doesn't just imitate humans, it surpasses them. We've actually seen this happen before. In chess, computers went from losing to humans to crushing grandmasters. In games like Go, artificial intelligence created strategies that humans have never even imagined. In racing, that very same thing could happen. AI could find entirely new ways to take a corner, brake later, save tires, or use energy more efficiently. It could design a racing line that's mathematically perfect, one that no human could replicate. And once that happens, the balance of the sport shifts forever. The driver, once the hero, becomes the passenger. That's why the next few decades could redefine what racing even means. Some experts believe we'll never see fully autonomous Formula One, at least not within the traditional championship. Instead, there might be two paths: human-driven F1 and AI-driven F1, a split evolution. The Human League would preserve the tradition, emotion, and danger. The AI League, sometimes called Formula AI, would push pure engineering beyond limits. No safety constraints, no driver weight considerations, no fear, just machines evolving on the edge of physics. Imagine cars exceeding 500 kilometers per hour, taking corners humans couldn't survive. It would be astonishing to watch. But would it inspire the same awe? Or would it feel cold? Just data battling data. And yet maybe the real future isn't about replacing humans, but merging with them. Instead of driverless cars, we might see AI co-pilots, systems that work alongside drivers, amplifying their abilities. Picture a cockpit where the driver steers, but an onboard AI monitors grip, wind speed, and tire conditions in real time, suggesting adjustments or even controlling certain systems automatically. It wouldn't replace instinct, it would merely enhance it. The driver becomes part human, part machine, a cyborg racer capable of superhuman precision. It's the Iron Man version of Formula One. That might be the next logical step, blending creativity and computation into one seamless entity. But make no mistake, the machines will keep on learning. The day may come when they no longer need us. They won't crash from emotion or hesitate with fear. They'll race each other with unimaginable precision, lap after lap, flawlessly. The audience might change as well. Younger fans, raised on simulation games and esports, might not crave the human story anymore. They might instead cheer for the algorithm that wins. Imagine an online community rooting for a digital driver whose personality is defined by code, not character. It sounds kind of dystopian, but it's not far from reality. Already, AI systems can mimic voice, emotion, and creativity. A racing AI could easily be given a name, a style, even a fake backstory to make it feel human. In that sense, maybe the human connection doesn't disappear, it simply evolves into something new. There are also ethical questions. If an AI car crashes and causes damage, who is responsible? The engineer who wrote the algorithm? What about the team that trained it? Or the machine itself? Formula One has always been dangerous. But danger without accountability feels quite different. How do you punish a car that doesn't feel guilt or fear? The concept of competition becomes abstract. There's no risk, no sacrifice. Without those, is it still even a sport? But here's yet another way to look at it. Maybe artificial intelligence isn't the end of human racing. Maybe it's the mirror that forces us to ask what being human really means. Because even as machines surpass our physical limits, they remind us of something they'll never have: emotion, ambition, pride, and pain. A machine can't dream of victory. They cannot fear defeat. They don't understand what it means to push beyond breaking point just to prove a point. Humans will always have that, and perhaps that is exactly why Formula One will always need us in some form or another. Still, let's imagine the ultimate future. The year 2040, the Monaco Grand Prix. 20 different cars lined up on the grid. Their engines are humming softly, each one controlled by an artificial mind connected to a neural cloud. There's no drivers in sight, no helmets, no gloves, no racing suits, just empty cockpits glowing with blue holographic light. The lights go out and the cars launch together with perfect precision, millisecond synchronization. Corners are taken at impossible speeds, braking zones calculated down to the atom. There are no mistakes, no crashes, no chaos, just flawless choreography, like mechanical ballet. The crowd watches in silence, mesmerized but disconnected. It's beautiful, but something is missing. In the VIP stands, an old man watches, a former world champion. He once raced here, decades ago, when the cars screamed and the drivers fought with their souls. He watches the perfect race unfold and whispers to himself, "They're faster than we ever were, but they'll never feel it." That single sentence captures the paradox of the future. Artificial intelligence can replicate performance, but it can't replicate passion. It can win races, but never earn glory. It can break records, but never make history. Because history is about emotion, about risk, about courage. AI may be able to drive perfectly, but perfection is boring. Humans are not perfect, and that is what makes their victories matter. In the end, Formula One's story might not be about machines replacing humans, but redefining them. Perhaps future drivers won't just be athletes. They'll be programmers, merging their instincts with AI. Their skill won't just be how fast they react, but how well they teach their digital companion to think like them. The fastest driver will be the one whose algorithm understands their soul. The cars will evolve, but the essence will remain, a human dream of going faster, of conquering limits, of defying logic. So will AI mark the end of human racers? Well, maybe not. Maybe it will simply change what a racer is. From fireproof suits to neural helmets, from steering wheels to brain interfaces, the journey will continue. F1 has always been about pushing the edge of technology while keeping the heart of competition alive. And no matter how intelligent machines become, they'll always be chasing something they cannot compute: the human spirit. Perhaps at the end of the day, that is what Formula One will become, a reflection of humanity's endless chase for improvement. Machines will race for precision, but humans will race for purpose. Both will coexist on parallel tracks, feeding off of each other's evolution. The machine will learn from the man, and the man will learn from the machine. Together, they'll create a new kind of speed, one that's not just measured in kilometers per hour, but in how far we've come as a species. The end of human racers? Well, not quite. It's simply the next chapter in our story, a story where courage meets code and emotion meets intelligence. The future grid might glow with artificial light, but behind every algorithm will still echo the same human heartbeat that started it all. Because even when the cars can drive themselves, the dream of racing will still always belong to us.